Oh, beautiful people. This is Fitz Stam Scribe and Soul Scribe. I'm really grateful to be here with you. And I'm creating this video because a very dear friend of mine asked me, Fitz, I saw your post, referring to this Facebook post. What does it mean? I don't get it. So I said to him, all right, I'm going to send you a voice note. I'm going to elaborate on what I mean. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, well, instead of just sending him a voice note, why don't I create a video? And then I can share that on YouTube and more people will have access to it and be able to benefit from it. So here we are, creating a video. What I wrote was, it's a lot versus it's too much. Okay, these are two states of being, two ways of being oriented to what's going on in your life. One way of being oriented to what's going on in your life is it's a lot. It's a lot. Right? So that's like not downplaying it, not pretending that it's all kind of just peaches and cream, not minimizing it, but simply acknowledging it's a lot. There's a lot going on. And another way of being oriented to what's going on in your life is it's too much. It's too much. I can't handle it. If you don't want the latter, honor the former. If you don't want the latter, honor the former. What does that mean? So often people end up in a state of it's too much. It's just too much. I cannot handle this. I'm overwhelmed. It's too much. If you don't want to end up there, if you don't want to end up in that state, honor that it's a lot. See, because what happens is people often go from one extreme in which they're pretending that they can handle it all, they're doing just fine, they can juggle all the balls, they're proficient, they're equipped, they're adept, it's no big deal, minimizing the full extent of what it is that they're dealing with. Maybe you're dealing with a loved one who's sick, or struggling with addiction, or divorce, or just hurting. Maybe you're dealing with difficulty in finances, or in your health, or in your marriage, children. There's so many relationships that we're engaged in all at one time. So many projects and things that we're trying to generate and create and results that we're after. There's so much going on at any given time. But oftentimes people don't honor that it's a lot. People don't acknowledge that it's a lot. They try to be macho, try to be Superman to themselves, even to their own self. They kind of deny the extent of the responsibility that they carry. They minimize the toll that some of what's being asked of them takes on them. They try to come across as impenetrable super people rather than becoming truly aligned and acknowledging and honoring it's a lot. So when people do that, they deny it, they suppress it, they minimize it. There comes a boiling point. A tipping point where they're just like, this is too much, right? The dam breaks. You can no longer minimize it. You can no longer downplay it. You can no longer pretend that it's all peaches and cream, that you're a Superman or Superwoman, you can handle it. And you just plot on the other end. It's too much. So if you don't want, it's too much. If you don't want that collapse, if you don't want that shattering, that breakdown, honor that it's a lot all along. If you honor that it's a lot, first of all, you relieve yourself of the burden of having to pretend in your own awareness that it's anything other than a lot. You relieve yourself of having to uphold the pretense that you're good, you're cool, you don't need any help, you're handling it all fine. That itself creates relief. That itself creates spaciousness. That itself is loving. It also, if you can acknowledge it's a lot, that allows for you to become more resourceful and ask, well, what kind of support could I put into place? This is really a lot. Who can help me with this? How can I delegate that? What kind of support can I ask for? Who's offered me help that I've declined that I can reach out to and take them up on their offer? If I acknowledge it's a lot, then and only then does that next step become precipitated, become elicited, like, oh, this is a lot. How can I relieve myself of some of this burden? How can I get support? How can I get help? how can I make this more manageable, right? Because you've acknowledged it's a lot, but as long as you're minimizing it and you're not allowing the immensity of it to emerge into your own awareness, you never get to come to that place where you kind of start asking, how can I get supported in this project, in this responsibility? So those are the two reasons why, when you just honor and acknowledge that it's a lot, you're able to then stay away from the total collapse into victimhood, into despair, and the breakdown of it's too much. Because to acknowledge it's a lot is relieving in its own right, because you no longer have to uphold a pretense that you're cool, that you got this. You no longer have to pretend that you're Superman. That itself is relieving and calming. And second of all, is it then opens up an opportunity for you to actually get supported. Both of those together make whatever you're dealing with manageable and sustainable. If you don't honor it's a lot, the dam will crumble. Your house of cards will crash down to the ground, and it'll just be one big, it's too much. And I want to add one more idea over here that comes from the Jewish tradition of spirituality. There's a teaching in the Talmud that says, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba b'truna in B'riyah Yisrael, that God does not ask from a person more than they can handle. In other words, whatever you're dealing with, you can handle it. Never are you confronted with a situation that you in truth don't have the capacity, the capability to handle in some way or another. I would like to propose, if that's the case, the same is true in the reverse. God doesn't give you less than you can handle. God doesn't create you with a capacity and then give you a job or a responsibility or an opportunity that's less than the capacity that you have. Because then that extra change of capacity that is being left untapped is just wasted. And there's another principle in the Talmud that says, there's not one thing in God's world that's wasted, that was created in vain. It's unnecessary. So if you have a particular capacity, God doesn't ask from you less than you can handle, because then the change between what you're being asked to handle and what you're capable of handling is a waste. It's not being tapped. God doesn't create anything that's not being tapped, that's not being used, that's not being capitalized on. Wouldn't create it otherwise. So the same way we say God doesn't give you more than you can handle, and it's always kind of like a way of saying, when you're about to collapse and it's like, this is too much for me, this is too much for me, this is crazy. No, God doesn't give more than you can handle. You can handle it. It's kind of a way of scaffolding you and kind of trying to hold you up and hold you together. Well, I would like to invite you into the possibility that God doesn't give you less than you can handle either. In other words, it's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot. Being alive in this world is a lot. What's being asked of you is a lot. God doesn't give you less than you can handle. He packs it on. Honor that. Acknowledge that. It allows for sustainability. It allows for living on purpose. And it avoids the pitfalls of victimhood and complete breakdowns into despair. I love you. Thank you for receiving me. Thank you for receiving this. I bless you today to live fully, to be vital. Honor it's a lot. God believes in you. He's packing it on. It's a lot. Always. And never is it too much.